Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube NFL prediction segment, I'm going to be giving you my pick and analysis for a 2016 Week 4 matchup between the New York Giants and the Minnesota Vikings. Well, in this game, I expect it to be very tight for one thing. You look at the New York Giants, all their games have been tight this season. They lost their last game to the Washington Redskins by 2. They beat the Saints by 3, and they beat the Cowboys by 1. So the average margin of victory for the Giants is 2 points. Or I should say the average margin of victory or defeat for the Giants is 2 points. All their games were decided on an average of 2 points, I should say. Now, as far as the Vikings go, I mean, they've superseded expectations for me. I mean, they have had some solid wins. Last week, I mean, they shocked the NFL. They really surprised me. I mean, it was bewildering, their performance going into Carolina and winning that game the way they did. And they're doing it virtually on smoke and mirrors. As far as the running game goes, they're not really averaging that many as far as yards per game. No Adrian Peterson, but no problem. They have wide receiver Stefon Diggs. I mean, he is having a great season right now. He is number 2 in the NFL in receiving yards right now. He also has 20 receptions. He is having a very good season, to say the least. He's also averaging, I believe, around 16 yards per reception. So this is a guy right now that in this game the Giants are going to really have to keep an eye on in this particular battle. This also, when you look at Minnesota, I do like them to win this game. And Minnesota right now, even though this is not a prediction as far as against the spread, you know that my predictions are outright win or lose for these teams. However, it is interesting to note that the Minnesota Vikings are 16-3 against the spread in their last 19 regular season games. So it really, for me, if they're favored to win, they probably are going to win this game, and I'm sure they will be favored to win being at home against the Giants. The Vikings are 3-0 right now. They are a little bit of a surprise to me, beating Green Bay, beating Carolina, and Sam Bradford, all he has to do is be efficient, and that's all. I mean, he could be efficient. The receivers can play well, and with their defense right now is giving up about 13 points per game. It's one of the best scoring defenses in the NFL right now. They're also number 1 in the NFL in sacks. Now, the Giants' defense looked very good in the first 2 games, but in the last game against the Redskins, it looked like it faltered a little bit. And me being a New York Giants fan, I hope what I'll see in this Monday night showdown against the Minnesota Vikings will be the defense that showed up in weeks 1 and 2. So it will be I expect this game to be fairly close. I see the Minnesota Vikings, though, winning this game decisively. It really makes you wonder with the Vikings, what they're doing right now. What would they actually be doing if they had Adrian Peterson playing right now? And really, what would happen if Teddy Bridgewater, if he was actually the quarterback right now? Would he be doing better than Sam Bradford? I think it really poses an interesting question. But what people have to remember, too, is that Sam Bradford was actually very good last season. If I remember right, he had like a 65 completion percentage, and he threw for, I think, around 3,700 yards. So he really does, and also he had more touchdowns than interceptions. I think it was 19 TDs to 14 interceptions, if I'm not mistaken. So Sam Bradford is a little bit unheralded, a little bit under the radar, but at the same time, he is really a solid quarterback, and maybe he can very well lead the Vikings to the postseason this season. So I think the Vikings may very well be for real right now, and I think they are good enough to beat my G-Men. Unfortunately for me, I like to see the Giants win, but I do believe Minnesota will take this one. Probably, I'm going to say around 7 points. I'm looking at like 27-20 Minnesota in this game. Well, anyway, people, That'll conclude this YouTube NFL prediction segment for my 2016 Week 4 preview between the New York Giants and Minnesota Vikings. And until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.